Well, hey, Diet Disruptors, Carrie here, and I have a treat in store for you today. You can see if you're watching me on the video that I have a guest, and everyone knows I love a good guest on our episodes. And this one's pretty special. This is Ernest, and he is calling in from his office, which you can see is his truck, right? And his car.
Yep.
And whenever I do a talk with or a call with Ernest, this is where he is. I think you kind of live in that truck. What do you think?
Pretty much.
That's so
Pretty
funny.
much.
So this might be interesting to people because most of the time, if I bring on a guest or if I'm talking to a client, it's a woman. And today we're talking to a man. And Ernest found us through his wife, and his story is so inspirational that I was like, are you willing to tell your story to the world? And he was like, yeah, I think I could do that. So Ernest, let's start from kind of how you and I got connected. Your amazing wife is the one that kind of brought you to us. So tell us that story a little bit.
It's Jamie wanted to do this food program, and I was a little hesitant at first, and then I told her, I said, go ahead. And so she proceeded to do this, and I thought myself, hey, I'm just going to do this with her so she'll stick with it. And
now let's go back a second, because Jamie had tried like everything for so long.
Yes.
So share a little bit about that, but what made you say yes or like agree to support her on this with everything that she's done for so long?
Well, when she she had done all the other diets and just didn't have any success. So I wanted to support her to have success. And when she told me she found this diet, it was not diet, it was a food program. She goes, it's different. It's not a diet. She goes, it's really designed to help balance your blood sugars. And at that point, a light bulb just came on for me because I'd been battling my blood sugar. My blood sugar went all the way up to 6.3. And I started this program with Jamie. And by doing that, I actually had went to the doctor in November, early November. And then I had a wellness check in December. And between that time, my A1C went from 6.3 to 5.8.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And here you are. I mean, tell everyone what you do for a living.
I do air conditioning heating for the school system here in Fort Worth, and I'm up on the roof most of the day.
And if I remember correctly, when you were telling me, it was like your A1C was continuing to rise.
Yes,
right?
It was going up. Every time I went to the doctor, it would go up every a point, 2 or 3. And no matter what I tried to do to stop it, other than maybe taking insulin, which I didn't want to do. So like I said, when Jamie told me about this program, I got interested.
Yeah, because it really connected with what you knew you were struggling with. And what I appreciate so much, it wasn't like you knew your A1C was going up and you were like not doing anything about it. You were trying, and you're active. Actually, you're up on roofs and ladders and all of that kind of stuff. And it just kept creeping up. So you have to tell me, though, what happened when you saw your doctor, because you've been going to your doctor and it kept creeping up, and then you go to your doctor and now you suddenly come down so dramatically in such a short amount of time without medication. So what did your doctor, what was that reaction?
She was shocked. She had seen how much weight I'd taken off, because you go to the doctor, you're going to weigh. And then she saw that my numbers were coming down. I mean, my cholesterol went from 157 to 99. And then my triglycerides went from 208 to 138. She said, what are you doing? I've got to know what you're doing because I can tell other people about this. So, she was just.
And your doctor, I mean, they just don't know. They aren't.
They really don't.
What kind of advice were you being given by your medical professionals as your A1C was continuing to climb?
She said cut sugars and smaller portions.
Mm-hmm.
And I was eating small portions, and I didn't intake a lot of sugar. I'm not a real big sweet guy, but I'd rather have salt.
Yeah. But I mean, so much of what we're doing, because we're not knowledgeable about our bodies and how to balance our blood sugar. And if our medical professionals aren't, then surely we're not going to be either. But just cut out sugar and eat smaller portions, and your A1C was continuing to climb.
Yes.
And so it always floors me. Now, the reason why I wanted you to share what you did for a living and all of that is, like, you're in your truck all day long. You are working, you're up and down. And I always say, this is simple, this is sustainable, this is satisfying, and anybody in any career can do this. So let's talk a little bit about how you make a strategy of eating 5 to 6 times a day. I mean, sometimes 7. I don't know how long you're awake for, right? Like it really depends on how long you're awake. How do you make it work when you're on the road all day long?
Well, I have a backpack, ice pack, and I take a cool pack and I put it inside there with it, and I just pack my food in there that I know. I make sure that I have more than enough meals with me in case something comes up and I have to go to the store, or one of the kids break down, I have to go to them. I still have a way to stay within my food program.
I mean, you're just prepared. So what does a typical day look like for you? Share that when you're eating. Like, walk us through Ernest's day of eating.
A lot of times I'll eat leftovers for lunch, and then in between I'll grab a protein bar and fruit to balance up, and then I'll also go with maybe a meal replacement shake.
Mm-hmm. What do you do for
then,
breakfast in the morning, like when you first wake up?
I will I do one of 3 things. I either eat eggs, do a protein shake, or I'll eat some overnight oats.
Okay. And you make sure they're always PFC balanced. And I love it when Ernest and I have done a coaching call together. I mean, he is so knowledgeable about food. He knows what carbs are, fats are, proteins are. He understands how to have his portions in the way that will balance his blood sugar. Like, tell me about the education that you feel like you know now versus even just a few months ago.
It's unsurmountable. I actually, went through the portal with Jamie.
Right.
She didn't do that by herself. Just that alone, finding that information and finding how it's going to really affect me long term, how it's going to affect her long term. It's just, like I said, it's just a big, unsurmountable pleasure that, okay, I finally found something that's working and clicking, and I'm having such great success at this.
I love that so much. And so let's think about the fact that, okay, so your wife went into this for herself and you were supportive. And I mean, like, when you hear Jamie and Ernest's story and you just know the love that they have for each other, it's just amazing. And she went to you, sort of unsure, but feeling like, oh my gosh, this sounds like it's almost too good to be true. And you were willing to say, let's do this, but let's do this together. What is the impact of doing it together versus apart? Because let's be honest, like, a lot of men don't want to go on another one of their wives' diets, right? Because they're kind of miserable. But what was the difference of this compared to the other things? And also, why did it matter that the two of you did it together? How did that help?
Well, by doing it together, number one, you're both on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're not pulling against each other.
Yeah.
We're also our biggest cheerleaders. So if she's going through a low spot, or I can lift her up. If I'm going through a low spot, she can lift me up. So by doing it together, you're just stronger. The bond is stronger. And you just keep pointing out to her things that you notice Because, you know, when you look in a mirror, you don't notice any difference, not unless it's major. I
Yep.
told her, no, no, there's a difference. And so she'll get out and she'll, you know, measure. But I'm telling you, by doing it together, it just lifts each other up. You're happier because you're working together for a common goal.
Yeah. And I mean, do you think it even brings, you guys already have a very close relationship. How do you think it even helped your relationship to get stronger? I mean, you've been married a really long time,
Oh,
right? But you continue to work on this relationship. How did this actually strengthen it?
by do like I said, doing it together,
Yeah.
we just look at for oh, it's kind of hard to put into words right this minute, but you're looking to strengthen each other, you
Yeah.
know, and having a common goal is something you both work towards. I know when people have been married for a while, sometimes they have a tendency to drift apart. This has brought us closer together for a
Mhm.
common goal. You know, I want to live longer. She wants to live longer. And so we're working together for that common, you know, to build each other up.
I love that. And let's just like your why is really strong, and it's what's allowing you to show up for yourself every day, pack your bag,
Mhm.
make sure you have what you need. I mean, you have to eat one way or the other, so you might as well pack the things you know are going to serve you. You're going to feel
Right.
better, you have more energy. But you also were in the portal every day. And for those of you that don't know what that means, when people join us, we have a learning portal and we're in there every day for about 15 minutes learning 1% progress a day. As an
Yeah.
educator, I know we build on all of the learning. You have learned so much. And you said that, you know, you'll listen to it while you're getting ready in the morning and kind
Yes.
of get your dose of knowledge and education. And I applaud that so much because you showed up initially to really help your wife because you were like, I'll do this with you. But then it really
Yes.
turned into you serving yourself. And I know that we talk about how the weight on the scale is not our primary function of knowing that this is working. Like your blood work came back incredibly well, your energy, your sleep, right? All of those things improved. But you did lose a considerable amount of weight already, right? So I remember when you were
Yes.
telling me you were what, like about 347 when you started?
Yes.
And what are you now?
300.
That's amazing. And you're
Yeah,
just still going strong.
I am.
I mean, Ernest, you're literally saving your life and your wife's. This is not about a diet and looking a certain way. You guys have grandkids and
Hmm.
kids. So talk about what this now affords you in terms of your life.
It's going to give me the opportunity to actually spend time with my younger grandkids. At the
Mhm.
rate I was going, I was afraid I wouldn't get to spend much time with them. So
Say
I
more
have more
about that. What do you
energy.
mean? What do you mean?
I felt I was slowly dying because I couldn't get anything under control.
Mhm.
You know, I was overweight. I couldn't get rid of the weight no matter what I did. I have arthritis in the right knee, so certain exercises or certain type of exercises weren't a choice for me.
Mhm.
So I had to find low impact exercises, and I have,
Mhm.
and just I keep moving forward. And now I have more energy than I've had in months. It's been 6 months. I hadn't had this type of energy.
Oh,
And now we're just moving forward. Jamie too. I've noticed a change in Jamie. You
mhm.
know, she has more energy,
Mhm.
so we're getting more things done.
Mhm. You're living a life of purpose. Not that you didn't have one before, but when you are worried about your health, it's just, and not making progress, it makes it scary. And
Yes.
what is your kind of thinking now around the future and what you have in front of you versus how you were feeling before?
Well, it's more like, look out, world, here I come. So,
I, I love
no, I just having the type of energy that I have. Uh, like I said, we just do more
Mhm.
instead of staying around the house. and doing nothing. We're having goals. We're setting target goals now, and we want to do a vacation together here in a couple of years. So this will be the first one we've actually had together.
Really?
So yes, I've
Oh my
always
God.
vacationed without her.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. I love that. And so I always say confidence does not come because you've met your goals. Confidence comes when you know what you're doing is right. And
Yes.
when I talk to you, now I didn't know you before, but I have this sense of an energy of confidence that is happening now versus before. Am I right in that assumption?
Oh, most definitely. I have more confidence that I'm gonna, get through the day, and I can't wait to get home, to see my wife. And so with us doing what we're doing, yes, there is a confidence there that uh, just just like come up from out of the depths,
Yeah.
and we're just making progress.
I love it. I love it. Let's talk a little bit about Jamie, because I know how much you love her and I know how proud
Oh
you
yeah.
are of her. Talk a little bit about her journey through all of this and what this has meant for her. And then as a result, how it makes you feel.
Yeah, Jamie, she had tried several different diets, and just no matter what she did, it didn't work. She's kept getting bigger, and I never belittled her or put her down. I was always there, as a support for her. But when you see that she can't achieve something, and she feels so, I'm going to say useless. She's just like, no matter what she does, she's not doing what she wants to do. Well, now, just with this program, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. That's
Okay.
what's so good about live. You roll with it. And you're in your car, for goodness sakes. Go ahead.
Okay. So anyway, with Jamie starting to see some success, because I got rid of it so quick because I'm so active.
Yeah.
She wasn't having the same success. I was just letting her know, hey, look, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Keep doing it. It's working. I see a difference. It's working. And she said, are you sure? I said, I have never lied to you, and I'm not going to start now. I see a difference. And so that has just boosted her confidence even more.
Well, it's true though, because this is what happens sometimes when a husband and wife do this together. Very often, a man, based on his, hormonal kind of makeup and the way they're physically designed, will often see that weight come off quicker. Women get frustrated by that, but I actually say it's an amazing gift that your body has to protect you and want to hold on because it's afraid. And with women who have done so many different diets in the past, that can wreak havoc on our hormones, which makes our body less desirable in terms of letting go of stored fat. But Jamie, and one of the things I think is hard is like, if you don't see it as quickly as your spouse, it can be discouraging. And now Jamie has seen tons of progress and has been working towards her goals and is knowing she's in the right direction. But because it didn't happen in the same speed of yours, you had to step up in a bit of a different way to be able to encourage her and have her keep going.
I did. I had to be, like I said, her cheerleader. I had to let her know she was doing the right things, to continue to do the right things. And I be honest with you, she works a lot. So I do majority of the cooking. We'll go into look at the food recipe book and pick out what we want to cook for that week, and we set it up. And like I said, I do a lot of the cooking.
I love
She
that.
cooks every once in a while.
I love that. She is, I always joke how my husband makes my shakes for me every morning. And even this morning, he was like a little late in the shake making. And I was like, hello, where's my shake? But I love that we work together as a team. Now, that's not to say that if you're not, aligned with your spouse, that you're not going to be able to do it, that it's an excuse. If you say, well, my spouse won't support me, so I can't. But I also want people to know that this is not one of those diets that the woman does and the man should not be a part of. They should be. And just by Jamie bringing this to you, by you having an open mind, you both now are saving your own lives and impacting others, because people are now coming to you and saying, what are you doing? Is that true?
Yes, yes. I have several of my friends. Uh, when I walk in, they're going like, "You've lost weight." I said, "Yes." What are you doing? So that's when I tell them disruptive nutrition. So,
And you can teach
and
this now, Ernest. You know
yes,
so much.
mhm,
Am I right?
yes, yes, I do. I try not to give them too much information up front. I usually refer them to, I said, "Do you have Instagram?" I said, "Look, here, go watch a video." And I let, your videos talk to them as well.
Mhm. I love that. I love that. And that's what I think is so important. A lot of people ask me like, why is it that you speak to mostly women when you're talking? And it's because of my own story and my own experience. But what I have
Mhm.
learned, and I mean, just your story is another perfect example of that, is that men struggle in so many of the same ways that women do. They don't
Yes,
voice very often, and they let it kind of sit inside. And I've known this. And it's not to say that I don't want to talk to men. I often know that a woman is very much the catalyst towards the man, right?
hmm,
And that it
yes,
actually worked exactly as I dream it would and pray it would, where when a woman can find us and trust us, that their husband can then be willing to join in, and we can change family trees that way. And that's exactly what happened.
yes.
But I mean, it's a perfect example of how we want to embrace every single person into this community, men included.
Yes, yes, that's true. That's true.
And I love that. I love that. Okay, so for all of the men out there, okay, you're now like a representative, Ernest. You have a bigger responsibility now. You put your own oxygen mask on, and now you get to put on other people's oxygen masks. So as we have women that will say to their husbands, "Oh gosh, like I met this woman on Facebook, and I don't know, she's saying that this and this and this is all possible," and their husband feels skeptical, right? Like, I mean, I
Yes.
actually applaud you because you didn't like say, "Who is this chick?" You believed kind of what your wife had said, but I can get it, right? You meet somebody on Facebook and you think, I don't know, could this really be the real thing? What do you say to people that might be skeptical, especially men whose wives are coming to them and telling them about this random chick named Carrie that popped into my Facebook feed?
I just tell them that I'm living proof it works.
Hmm.
I said, you wanted to know what I'm doing. I said, I'm telling you what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And the question is, do you want to do it?
So,
You've got to make up your mind. I said, she has a saying, 1% every day.
mhm.
And so I show up 1% every day. I said, that's not 99% of your life. That's 1%. So if you start showing up 1% and you start applying yourself 1%, you will see the results that I see. I said, as far as my wife, like I said, found the program. She's the one that started the journey. And when she told me about blood sugar, that's when it perked my interest. So I'd also tell them, about my blood sugar, my A1C. I said, look, it did this.
Mhm.
We're talking 2 months, and my blood sugar's starting to come back in line. I said,
Yeah.
if you're having the same struggles, we can do this.
Yeah. I love that. And that's what we mean by working, right? Because on the outside, people see you've lost weight. Well, you could lose weight by just not eating and depriving yourself,
Hmm.
right? There's a plenty of ways to quote unquote lose weight. Now, we know, especially with women, the more and more you try to just deprive yourself, the heavier you end up getting at the end of the day. But
Hmm.
the concept of it working, what does that mean to you? When something is actually working, it's more than just weight loss.
You're right. It is. It's a newfound confidence.
Mm,
When you find something that's really working, and you feel better,
mhm.
your mental clarity's better.
Yeah.
You look forward. to getting up in the mornings. And, I don't get to exercise in the mornings because of the time I get up. But when I get home in the afternoons, I do some type of exercise. I I've looked forward to doing that. It used to, I didn't. I'd get home and I'm so tired. Who wants to exercise?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all different now. I do
that.
something to keep my energy level up.
I love it. Ernest, when people start their journeys with us, I say, I expect your life to look very different in 2-3 months from now than it does today. And people don't always know what I mean by that. But I think you are a shiny example of what I mean. Your life looks
Yes.
very different. You're working the same job, right? You live in the same house,
Yes.
but your life itself looks very different than it did just a few months ago. Would you agree?
I do agree. Just a few months ago, I was going to retire because it was just such an effort to
Wow.
get on the route.
Wow.
Because of everything that is happening, I decided to keep working.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yep.
I love that. And I love that you're eating. I love that you're eating all day. I love that you're eating
Yes.
carbs. I love that you know more about your body, that you're in tune with your body, and that you are going to be here for decades longer than you would have been if you hadn't done this and just shown up for yourself a little bit every day. A little bit every day makes a
Yeah,
real
yeah, this is really the amazing part. I left that out earlier, but I do tell my friends, hey, look, I can eat food. I said, I'm never hungry. I eat. I said, but I eat good food. I even eat carbs. I can have chips. And they look at me like, what? So they kind of doubting Thomas sometimes, but I, I
well,
I'm hoping that they're
society,
checking out. They
let's be honest,
check up on.
society has told us that we can't have those things.
Right.
And so there's
Oh
always,
yeah, doctors told me I couldn't have those things.
right. And there's always this battle between, I want to get healthy and I want to be around, but I don't want to live this life of feeling like I'm shackled to not enjoying myself. Right. And it's like, we almost feel
Right.
like we have to give up one to get the other. And that's why it's so hard for people to commit to something. I know so many women that just like right before they start another new diet, they're just like, okay, here we go, because we're expecting to be miserable for a few pounds on the scale. But instead, when you adopt a lifestyle that allows you to just understand food and understand how to have whatever it is that you love and still make progress, we can't even compute that that's possible because we've been taught for so long that the two are separate.
Correct. You're right. Absolutely.
And so it impacts men as much as it impacts women. And I am just so grateful for you, for your trust and for your support of Jamie and for sharing with other people, because this to me is a movement and this to me is a mission to change people's lives, to change the way the world looks at food and their bodies. And
Yes.
you're doing it along with me just by showing up here today.
Yes, I am. 1%. 1% every day.
Every day. I love it. Ernest, thank you so much. Any last words of wisdom you want to share with people as they listen to you and your story?
I just want them to know that whatever is happening, don't give up, and especially don't give up on yourself because it works. I know you can't really see this, but that's how much weight I've lost.
You need some new shirts.
I do. Yes, I do. But hey,
That's exciting. It's so exciting. Well, we want to follow your journey, Ernest. So let's make sure we do this again because people are going to want to know where you are. And it's going to hold you accountable, but also it's going to help so many other people to know, look at Ernest is continuing to just thrive. And so you'll come back, right?
I'll come back. I'd be glad to.
And you're a lifetime member with us. So we'll hold you to that.
Okay, sounds good. I look forward to it.
I love it. I love it. Ernest, thank you so much for being here. You are the best. If anybody has any questions or comments or how this is inspiring to them, put it down in the comments, because I would love to know how this incredible man and his incredible wife have inspired your journey towards disrupting your nutrition as well. Ernest, you're the best. Go back to work.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.